Alright, Piss and Vinegar day 79. Back in rear delts. Today I did a 1 rep max on the chin up just to see where I was at. And wasn't as good as I'd like. Um, I don't think my strength standards on my chin ups are quite that high. I don't know. I don't really know what the standards are for intermediate advanced people or intermediate advanced naturals. I don't know what their chin up supposed to be. I've seen like Alex Leonidas do like 3 or 4 plates for his chin ups, but granted he's quite a bit lighter than me and shorter ranges of motion. But yeah, I got an extra 40 kilos, so 220 kilo plates, plus my body weight of 84 and a half this morning, so not too bad. I seem to always hear from natural bodybuilders that if you don't have a strong weighted chin up, then you won't have a big back, and I'm not sure how much I buy that one, just because there are plenty of huge backs, natural and unnatural, that have been developed from not doing weighted pull-ups and chin-ups and stuff. Also, with the chin-ups and pull-ups, they're very much a frequency responding movement as far as strength goes. So I don't obviously train with much frequency because I train with high intensity. I train once a week, and I only train chin-ups once every 2 weeks, because I have the cable lat pull down as the other variation for my lats. So I'm training this movement very infrequently, and I don't know how quickly the strength will go up. Also, I'm bulking up, and I'm just not that great at chin-ups or pull-ups. Like, it's just not really my strength. So yeah, maybe it'll be more something that I get strong at as like weight cut in a few months. But right now, I'll see what I can do with it. I'm hoping maybe by the end of this bulk, when I'm about 90 kilos, if I could do an extra 25 kilos on top of that, that'd be good, because I'll gain 5 kilos and put extra 5 kilos onto the weight plates. So meaning I'll have added an extra 10 kilos of strength to my weighted chin up 1 rep max. If I can get more than that, that'd be excellent. I mean, ideally 3 plates or something would be pretty cool, but maybe that might be more for when I weight cut. And then today I added a new rowing motion. I've done these before, cable low rows, but previously they weren't so low, because you can see the where the pulleys attached to this machine are quite high. So if I sit on the bench normally, I'm pulling kind of a higher row, which I don't really like that much. I don't really feel it in my lats a hell of a lot, or my back in general. But when I sit on this crate on top of a bench, it's much more in line with my kind of navel or upper stomach rather than like chest. So this feels a lot better now that I'm doing them on this incline. Ideally, the cable attachment would start even lower than that, maybe near my toes, but all good. It seems to be good, and I might just start doing these instead of my leverage machine rows. The leverage machine is great, but one, it requires a lot of setup, and I have to like attach bands to it so it doesn't the weights off one side don't fly off. Two, I can't drop set it because of that, because I put that band around it. It's just a hell of a lot of setup to then take plates on and off. And then 3, because it's a bent over row, my lower back gets involved a lot, and I don't really want to really be focusing on my lower back. I want to be mostly focusing on my lats. So if my lower back has to stabilize and I have to really brace really hard and focus on keeping my back straight, that'll take away naturally from my ability to contract my lats, rhomboids, rear delts, etc. So I might just stick to doing these, now that I've figured out a way of making it more of a low row than a high row. And then I switch over to the infamous cheat unilateral row that I do. I've probably narrated this exercise before, but new subscribers come along, so I'll kind of just talk about what I'm doing here again. I get a huge stretch in the lats this way, because if you're going bilaterally, both arms at the same time, you can't stretch out the lats as heavily because you can't rotate through the trunk. But if you rotate through the trunk, you can get more of a stretch for the lats. And then if I rotate the other way, so at the top of the movement, I retract my scapulars and rotate the opposite way in order to contract the rhomboid more. So it stretches the rhomboid and lats, and then at the top, I'm able to contract the rhomboids even more by rotating the other way. So you can't do this with a bilateral movement, because you can't rotate your trunk if both arms are in in motion. So this is kind of like a stretch overload movement slash unilateral movement. There's a lot of different reasons I do this movement. Another reason is just that the back is less likely to be less likely to have a muscular imbalance in your back, in the sense that one lat is bigger than the other, or one trap, or one rear delt, etc. But it is possible, and I could see that happening for me because, you know, I've got so many muscular imbalances in my left and right side, all across all across my physique. Like, my left oblique is bigger than my right. My left quadricep, hamstring, and glute are smaller than my right. My left tricep is bigger than my right. My right bicep is bigger than my left. So I have all these muscular imbalances. What's to say that I won't get that from back training if I'm not careful? So I decided I'd add a unilateral movement for numerous reasons, including that, just to make sure that there's no imbalances, because the last thing I want is a lopsided lat or lopsided rear delt or traps or whatever the fuck. And then I'm moving on to the pullover, which is the same as ever. One day, hopefully, I can get a genuine Nautilus machine. Not something that I can probably build. As you guys have seen, my buildings are not fucking... aren't too... they're no Leonardo da Vinci or whoever that exceptional builder was, or inventor from the 1600s. They're no feat of engineering, rather. I'm not much of a builder, so I can make very standard things like weight racks and things to hold weights. And the most snazzy thing I've made so far is that pec deck machine I've made, which actually works pretty decently. But I cannot see myself making a Nautilus pullover machine with my abilities, and especially with wood. There's so many leverages that change throughout that movement that require the engineering that what was his name? The man that created Nautilus, the grandfather of high intensity, Arthur Jones. He understood leverages and the biomechanics of the human body, and Nautilus machines, the resistance curve adjusts throughout the movement to make sure the resistance curve is perfect throughout. So one day, hopefully, I'll have a giant backyard garage gym when I own my own house, and it will be stocked with all the best Med-X and Nautilus machines from Arthur Jones's era, and you'll see much more reminiscent of Blood and Guts, Dorian Yates's training, when I get to that stage, because Dorian used a lot of Nautilus machines because he was a big fan of Mike Mensa and Arthur Jones and high intensity, and those machines were specifically built with high intensity in mind. They're a series back from the late 80s, early 90s of Mike Mensa training a bodybuilder named Boya Ko, where they basically just did one set of failure training on all these different Nautilus machines. And it was on the Nautilus TV network. They had their whole network and everything. Like, Nautilus was huge back in the late 80s, early 80s even, and early 90s. And yeah, you could see these machines were built, one, sturdy, two, with the ideal leverages in mind, and three, to take on high intensity, or what's the word? Adopt high intensity. I don't know what the word would be, but basically high intensity. They were specifically built for you to train to failure with, whereas other machines aren't necessarily that great for that. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you guys tomorrow for more Piss and Vinegar. Bye-bye.